key under the sanctimonious system
There we go.
that was not allowing.
I didn't switch it from Facebook to YouTube. Rookie move. Rookie move. Dang, we look bright.
Rookie. Was that Rookie 1, Rookie 4?
Rookie 1 Kenobi.
Cut me, Polly. Rookie 1. I wish I had some cool video to watch.
Yeah, I'm working on that one.
Working in the coal mine, going down, down, working in the coal mine. Whoops, I got to slip down.
How did it know it wanted me to be in there? It's like it knew.
Don't, Dave. I am a HAL 3000 computer. Open the bay doors, Hal. I can't, Dave. Hal, open the bay doors. No, Dave, don't. Could be holding you tonight.
There you go. There we go. Now we're doing stuff.
Wrong, start doing right. You don't care about what I think. Home. Boy, those are two good-looking guys there, but that's like a still.
I know. Where are we at?
It's like a still photo right there. But I tap on it, and it's still going back in time. I feel like I'm in Back to the Future.
You can go through the Facebook page too.
Live sports. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Last time I tried that, though, it gave me
I told
some
you,
weird code that I
Because
didn't
you
have.
can't watch anything that's not PG-13.
Well, I should be able to, shouldn't
I don't know. Carol might have put restrictions on your phone.
I? Oh, she's put restrictions on me, but I don't know if any of it has to do necessarily with my phone. Let's go videos from the here.
Videos from the past.
I see sports before bed. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 1 month ago.
It's going to have an old picture on it. You should be the very top.
Yeah, it's
Check us out. We are live. Click that pic.
okay. And that pic would be where? Because it's certainly not on my Facebook page.
Why not?
Well, I don't know.
Should be.
Everyone
me
on
in
here.
Me in a blue shirt with my eyes closed. You in a orange shirt. Nothing.
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
Don't know what you're doing over there.
Well, look at videos. Should it be posts?
It's go to post.
I see me in an orange shirt, you in a blue shirt.
There you go. Does it say check us out? We are live. Click that pic.
But that's not us. It's going to be some other. This video is
No, that's it.
unavailable with restricted mode.
I guess you can't get to it.
No. But if I go back to YouTube,
Go back to YouTube.
maybe I can.
Maybe.
But first, let's leave YouTube. Let's walk away.
This is going to be its own show. Can Scotty find us?
Well, it's not. Why am I restricted is what I want to know.
I don't know.
That's the key thing. And the funny thing is, my lovely wife also told me that when she tried to go into it, that way it was restricted. And I told her that was by design, that we really didn't want her.
I have absolutely no. I just clicked on it. Boom. There we are. Boom. Boom. Gave us a like. Gave us a like.
Okay, now I'm YouTube at EC Sports Show.
Somebody else gave us a like. Thank you.
And that's where I am right now. So you tell me what to do.
Click on the green part.
All right.
Scroll down. Do you see a live video going?
I see a very, very, very handsome elderly gentleman
Mm-hmm.
in a red shirt, and then a guy that looks like his grandfather in a yellow shirt that looks like a canary with gray hair.
There you go.
So am I close?
There, you're right on.
Man, it's awesome. I feel so good about things now. It's a shame though, Bill. when we kick the show off that there's nothing to talk about in terms of like local sports or controversy or
absolutely nothing.
The continuing saga of why I want Mike Gundy to be the head coach of the University of Tulsa since when? Last September maybe is when I made that pitch. So it isn't happening yet, but one of these days he's going to be a golden hurricane.
You think that's the next job?
No, I don't think he'll do anything after this. He might be an analyst for, I don't know, Mike Stoops
make a good analyst,
at
TV
Louisiana Monroe. No, I meant like one of those guys sitting up at a press box somewhere. I don't want to see him. First of all, do you really think any of these networks who, let's just say, tend to support a little bit more of a leftist agenda than what Mike Gundy's been spouting?
If you have the option of Booger McFarland or Mike Gundy,
my hand's all the way. Both my fingers are all the way up my nose.
I don't know
for
that
Booger.
I really want to watch either, but
yeah, I don't want to hear what he has to say. I just, he starts talking. He never has enough water. You ever watch Gundy for very long? He's got to have one of those Slurpees because if he doesn't, he gets real dry and all this stuff starts going on and he can't quite get the word. He just disgusts me. I'm just sick of him.
Well, how about we start the show with that anger?
Oh no, it'll be fine. I'm gonna clean up on the real show part and just show my support.
There you go.
It's time for excessive celebration.
0.
Good evening, Bill.
Are you okay over there?
Good evening, Bill. Welcome to Excessive Celebration. There's been a lot of excess this week, and we're going to get into all of the fun, all of the drama. But Bill got some breaking news from Mustang regarding Little Cubs baseball, and I think you need to get that back out there again. Let us know.
Little Cubs in a walk-off by the big man, Josh. Get a W. Now, it did go totally Super Bowl at one point, and the lights went out and the scoreboard went off. But by my calculations, they scored 2 runs in the last inning, which, in all fairness, the Vipers came to play and did not get a chance even though they were the home team. T-ball's got some weird rules, but it's a time restriction.
You know what they say, Bill? Boom, boom, out go the lights.
Thought it was Boom Goes the Dynamite.
Well, that's different. Well, I had another song in mind, too, but I'm going to save that for another show in another decade.
Cubs played very, very well. Congratulations, little Cubbies. Celebrate hard. One more game left for spring ball. Thursday. Be there.
Celebrate good times. Well, there is a chance that young Sky Q is going to be with me Thursday, so if I'm not buried out in the backyard between then and now, we might make a trip out that way, Bill. Got some fun stuff to talk about. We had golf this weekend, real golf. We had more NASCAR fun. We have NFL news that's somewhat interesting. We have Kyrie Irving proving once again everything I think about Kyrie Irving is correct. We'll dive into that a little bit. And, Bill, not to be disappointed, is there anything greater than the camaraderie and the love that exists between the owners and the players in Major League Baseball? Is that the only thing I can think of that coalesces better than that is Mike Gundy and the African-American players at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, how do you engage your team after that? Like, you can say you're working together, and Chuba can maybe act like he's on board with that after that, but it's going to be tough to galvanize that team.
Yeah. Let's say hypothetically you work for a company and hypothetically they go to sell it and hypothetically everything's going to happen and then hypothetically it doesn't happen. Do you think everybody feels the same way about everything afterwards? No. And that's a business thing. This is a lot more personal than that. I don't know, Bill. Watch this. You haven't had a chance to see the second video. Take a chance to watch that, because I've heard local people say they thought it was extremely sincere, blah, 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 blah. I think he's doing exactly what he has to do to keep his job. And we'll go into that a little more in detail, because
Besides winning?
I have a theory. Well, if 8 games let you keep your job and be the the Pope of Payne County, then so be it. But the King Neptune of Lake Carl Blackwell, or whatever the heck he is up there. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I think that decision for not firing him is huge, Bill. We'll see if Burns Hargis made the right decision in terms of long-term health for this program, or if they should have cut ties. And the reasons why they didn't, I think, are economical and not.
I was going to say more
moral.
so because the season's about to start, and it would have been a hard fit to really push somebody in there. And I mean, you're already going to have a tough enough time with whatever football does come back. So if you got a new coach now, and the limited access that you've had already,
I think they would.
That's a tough situation.
See, I think you move Casey Dunn into this head coach role. He's offensive coordinator. He is the guy.
Yeah.
And you just keep on going. Except now you've got somebody that not only gets it, but lives it, and is a great recruiter, and a guy that obviously was being courted by other people to go be OCs somewhere else. And he's done a great job. Bill, he's been there since 2011. He's the longest tenured assistant coach there. So he's ensconced. But they made the decision they made. I think it's going to be huge. And I truly believe that part of this decision, Bill, was based on the fact that, man, we're not making much money this year. If we make any, we're not going to have any in the stands. We could only play so many games. We've got to try to capitalize on the talent we have, find a way for Gundy to keep these guys intact and get through this season alive. I think that's what this is about. I'm not so sure a year from now he's the coach.
I don't know. You never know in college sports. I mean,
if he turns it around and there's no more.
Okay, so is every head coaching job a better job than an offensive coordinator job?
Oh, no. No.
So if Alabama came knocking, would you take head coach at Oklahoma State or Alabama offensive coordinator?
Saban's still the head coach?
Saban's still the head coach.
I don't know. I mean,
I would think, unless they do the head coach designate, like kind of what they did with Riley, I think a head coach job just about anywhere is better than offensive coordinator.
Well, and here's the thing: if you're,
unless you're,
but what I was going to say, if you're like somebody that is from that part of the country,
right?
So maybe you played at Georgia Tech or something, but you're from that area. Then I think you're more apt to have success there, and maybe parlay that with the connections that you have and the networking. That's why I think guys like Kirby Smart have made it, and Sweeney comes off of that staff because they're guys from that area too, and I think the geography matters. Now, if you said to me, what Oklahoma State or LSU, I'd still say head coach is a better job, but you start thinking about it when you start talking about the Ohio States and some of those.
What if it was a team that was, we'll say, trying to think of a better, like a Rice, or more in a hotbed for recruiting? I know Oklahoma's not too far from Texas, but reasonably, if you're in Texas, you probably have a better shot at getting some of these more high-profile recruits.
Are you saying head coach at Rice versus,
say, OC at LSU? Or
no, OC at LSU is a better job.
Really?
And here's why I'll say that. Because, you're
money?
Well, you're sitting at Rice. That's true.
Yeah.
Houston's there. Texas A&M's there. Texas isn't that far away. LSU's just down the road. There's a bunch of people after that same talent that's in that area. Not that there isn't a lot of it, but you've got 12 Division I schools in the state of Texas. 12 of them.
Right.
So I mean, and that's not even talking about Division II or any of the other, the Southland, any of that other. So yeah, there's a lot of talent, but there's a lot of competition for that talent as well. A lot of competition, Bill. Korean Baseball Organization. We'll talk more about Mike Gundy and his travails up there in Stillwater a little later, because I really think there's some economics to that. But Bill, the craziness in Korean baseball continues. I want to throw this out there for you, okay? Because we keep waiting for the collapse of somebody pretty special, and it's not happening. So the NC Dinos, 26-9, not coincidentally, Bill, they happen to sport the best pitcher and the best hitter in the league. Koo Chang Mo is now, Bill, ballooned his ERA to 0.75.
Somebody give this guy a shot.
7 games, 5 wins. Listen, Bill. 7 games. Okay, 48 innings pitched. Okay? 173 pitches. He's given up 22 hits, or 22 singles, 5 doubles, and 1 home run.
That is nuts.
Now, they've got also the best hitter, Kang Jin-sung, batting .450. This guy's played in 32 games. He's got 100 at-bats, 45 hits, 31 RBIs. And they're on the same team. And that's why they are 28-9 and 4 games ahead of LG, and let's just say my KT Wiz are only 13 back. And you have the Lions, right? They're only 9.
Yes.
They're only 9.5 back. But NC Dinos are running away with this thing. And the closer we get to somebody else playing some other sport, the quicker I can throw that away. But I will tell you this. I'm going to keep watching because, Bill, I'm with you. When this season's over, if at least somebody in the Japanese League or somebody Pacific Coast or something doesn't give Koo Chang Mo a call.
I don't know how you don't. Even if this guy's up there throwing 82 miles an hour, what he's doing is impressive. You give him the right team to be around?
Yeah, you give him a great defense, a good infield.
Tell me the Yankees can't use a healthy pitcher always.
Yeah. One more time, guys. 48 innings pitched. 173 pitches. That's 4 pitches an inning, basically.
That's insane. Like that is.
How many outs do you get?
Apparently 1.
Oh,
you're not beating this guy.
No, that's just ridiculous. So we're going to keep the Koo Chang Mo watch going. In fact, Bill, I think I may see if I can't get a little closer information on when he pitches, and I may contribute that to the website just to make sure everyone's up to date in real time when he pitches.
Oh,
look at that. We're
double
talking.
Time.
We are talking.
I'm just over here playing with the stuff over here. I'm just clicking buttons.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You look like you're enjoying yourself. I didn't want to get in your way.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody heard that specific part twice.
We close to a break, or?
Yeah, we can take a break.
Because when we come back, let's talk about how nobody, Bill, and I mean nobody, got in Denny Hamlin's way at Homestead this weekend.
I wouldn't do it.
Not even that 14 car. Man, Clint.
You're listening to Excessive Celebration on Crossover Sports Radio. Reminding you to get that app today. And as always, don't be in front of Denny Hamlin. Excessive celebration back. Scotty O, Billy Bell, Dash, and Lance.
Sounds like some of the stuff going on in some of the downtowns around the country the past couple of weeks. A lot of dashing and lancing. A lot of rip rocks and savagery. Man, oh man. Bill, we ready to go back to old time sports guy?
Old time sports guy.
All right, back to the roundy round. Denny Hamlin found the magic once again at Miami's Homestead Speedway, Bill. Hamlin took the lead for the final time with 30 laps left and held off Chase Elliott for his record-tying third NASCAR Cup Series victory at Homestead. Former drivers Tony Stewart and Craig Biffle are the three-time winners. Hamlin is in the club now after battling Elliott most of the night. Driver got 3 laps, not even 5 miles, before lightning was spotted near the track and a caution came out that turned into a red flag stoppage. And Bill, we know what that's about, don't we? We're married guys. About 25 more laps once things finally resumed. Lightning struck again, another interruption, another 39 minutes. It was 8:15 when the green flag dropped again, and drivers who'd been through only 33 laps to that point started the final 234 times around the Homestead surface. Denny gets the win. Sunday, Bill.
Sunday.
Talladega, high sides and scary rides. And believe me, since 2019, no restrictor plates finally. That means the cars can actually get a little separation, and all of those guys won't get killed. But I'm watching anyway, because it's NASCAR live, baby.
You know, I think out of all the sports...
Hang on just a second. Okay, I'm fine.
I was say, out of all the sports that I feel suffers from not having fans, I think it's NASCAR.
See, I just pro bowling.
Yeah. Bowling can get a little juiced up. The 30 fans that are sitting on the sideline. What I don't understand about bowling, when they get down to the final, whatever, 6, 8, and they just stay on the 1 lane or the 2 lanes, I think you change all that. You really want to see who can bowl the best? Make every lane a different oil pattern.
I love that idea because that's the thing. They find that groove.
Yeah.
Not that I could,
Yeah.
but they can, right?
I feel like if you just changed it up, like, we'll find out who the real bowler is.
Or how about you go roll down there at the other end of the alley where there's no oil on it. It hasn't been since a week ago Thursday since the COVID thing broke.
Or let's put the bumpers up for all those guys who like to play that lazy hook. That thing's going to bounce off there.
Hey, next time we get to a break, I'll tell you a great story about a mixed bowling league I was in where my best buddy and I took advantage of the other guys that were around by having two young ladies that were both decent bowlers that, let's just say, tended to be women that superficial men might find worth paying more attention to than their own bowling game.
Is the best sports clip ever the Pete Weber? Who do you think you are? I am.
Man, back in the days of Pete and Dave Sutar and what was that, Marshall Holman guy or whatever, that was a little bit of a pain in the back.
You got what? Yeah, Norm Duke. Parker Bone the Third.
Yeah, I remember him. His little cheesy
Walter
mustache.
Ray.
Yeah, but wasn't it Marshall Holman was his name?
I think so.
Yeah, he was the Jimmy Connors.
Short shorts.
Of
That's the other thing. Like, why do they get all dressed up in slacks and then this ridiculous button-up shirt? Like, I feel it's bowling, man. Do you go to bowling in some slacks and a hideous shirt sponsored by McDonald's or Mountain Dew or?
I go to J.C. Penney's, get my hair as Sansa belts.
That's also where you can find their shirts after they get.
That's right. In the Overrun collection at J.C. Penney's. So NASCAR next week at Talladega. For those of you that are passive fans, that's the best track.
I got the best thing ever. Westbrook needs to come out with a line of bowling shirts.
There you go.
Or Chris Paul. Chris Paul's apparently a very good.
Or
bowler.
shoes, for that matter, Bill. A whole bowling.
Oh, he owes me money if he does.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Alleywear.
Why not the gutter?
Why not?
I'm just saying.
Why not? That's what I'm hoping that for Kevin Durant and his ownership now. And did you see Kevin Durant bought ownership in the Philadelphia soccer team?
There's a lot of people that like. Who is it? Gronkowski owns one of the soccer teams too, or parts of it.
Well, I'll tell you who owns a soccer team. LeBron owns 2% of Liverpool.
I don't.
Across the way there, 2%.
Is that a money maker?
I don't know if it's just a money storer. You know, I go put it in there. I'm not making any. I'm not really losing any. I mean, most of these franchises end up making money if there's no COVID virus or idiots that tank seasons, baseball. Yeah. So I don't know. You know, I'm not so sure about it.
I would be interested to know. I mean, at some point he's probably going to sell and make maybe a little bit of profit on it, but I don't know what would be the upside. I mean, what would be the interest there? You think there's a huge interest really in all that?
I don't know
I don't know either.
Bill, you're asking me about being a head coach at some place or maybe an assistant.
If you're a professional whatever player, let's say you play what sport? Football?
Why not?
Okay. And you make millions upon millions. If you can pick a different sport that you can invest in, that you can own a little bit, what sport would it be?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Besides underwater, underwater basket weaving.
Well, that's a given,
right?
Yeah.
So if it's football and I can own in another sport, do I want to be an active owner or do I want to be a passive owner?
I would feel most of them are not active.
Okay, then I'd say an NHL team.
NHL?
Yeah, because I wouldn't be one of those people that acted like I could walk in there and go, why is that guy playing?
Yeah.
I just kind of let it go, like my stock, whatever, money I've got invested. I don't ever look at it every day.
Do you think at some point your aggressiveness in wanting to win at all the time would be like, okay, hey, we need to trade this guy and move on to the next? Or?
I think there's people like that, Bill. I think if I had the kind of money that you're talking about, that I could invest in something like that, I would like to think that once I had gotten to that point, that I didn't necessarily need that okay, what do I do now mentality, but I don't know.
Does the name LeBron being connected with them carry weight with fans that they want to go watch too, or no?
I think you'd have to ask the people in Liverpool. I can't imagine, though, Bill. I don't see any downside to it. So I would think that it can't hurt from a fan's perspective. I don't know necessarily if it's
I can't imagine a draw. I mean,
a draw, but I don't think it hurts.
I would think like stuff in the States. So like if he bought into football or if he bought into NASCAR or whatever,
Yeah.
it might draw some interest. Overseas soccer already overseas is by far
I mean,
popular. So
Cleveland doesn't have an MLS team, do they? They're not a
Not
Major
that
League
I'm aware
Soccer
of,
team. I don't think they are. But something like that, you know, if he
Yeah.
could bring Major League Soccer maybe to his hometown, that might qualify.
I'm just curious. I would wonder like how many. So when somebody heard that LeBron invested and were a LeBron fan, they were like, "Oh, maybe I'll go check out this soccer
Yeah.
team." I mean,
Yeah, I'm not sure that it works that way. I know a bunch of people years ago, a lot of players that invested in, like, I'm talking about when the investments were smaller, but like World Team Tennis and stuff like that. Some of the sports people and agents and things like that went that route. But yeah, if you know, you're talking about LeBron, and if he's only comfortable buying 2% of Liverpool's probably worth something.
I would say so.
You know, most of those in that league are probably
Liverpool, Bayern Munich,
much likely billion-dollar and up
even
franchises.
some of their teams that get relegated every so often are.
Yeah, they're
maybe
billion-dollar franchises.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bill, we talked about being an assistant coach in the SEC versus a head coach elsewhere. We got the SEC all-name team, and you would not get the chance to coach some of these guys unless you were in the SEC, Bill. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Are you? Because this is the best one yet. When you look at Alabama and they have a wide receiver from Honolulu who I'm guessing is not a huge guy, but probably can put the food away at the training table. His name is Drew Kobayashi.
Ooh.
Imagine he's nasty around the Nathan's dogs.
I hope there's not a chestnut around him.
Okay, I don't want Lance or Dash to be upset here, but this name's great. Pierce Quick, offensive lineman.
That can be Sky Q.
There you go, Pierce Quick.
Here's quick.
That's right. That's the third. That's great. That's it. You're amazing. Here's Pierce Quick over there with Lance Dash and Pierce. All right. How about Phidarian Mathis? That's classic.
Say the first name again.
Phidarian.
Phidarian.
Phidarian. That's big time. What I look for, folks, are not necessarily names that I think is fun. I look for names. Again, this is the rule. It needs to be a name where if you got knocked unconscious in the game and it's 12:30 at night and you're at Pizza Planet and you're asking who won and your friends are all saying we did when you didn't, and somebody goes, who knocked you out of the game? It needs to be a name like Phidarian Mathis. That's what I look for.
Like, I feel like I really slacked on naming my son after hearing a lot of these names.
Scooby Carter.
That's pretty good.
Cheyenne O'Grady. What was going on there?
You know that place we visited that one time? Yeah, it's really great. Cheyenne, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cheyenne O'Grady's. Okay, this is Bill, this is a linebacker. He's a junior from Arkansas. His name is Bumper Pool. I'm not kidding.
Meanwhile, this kid has never heard of that game ever.
His name is Bumper Pool. Okay, Auburn. Their long snapper, Jacob Quittlebaum. Defensive back, Smoke Monday.
Ooh, that's a great
Is
name.
that big time? How about defensive end? And this is his name, okay? Big Cat Bryant. He
There's
lines
no
up.
way.
He lines up with Smoke Monday. How awesome is that? Oh, and their place kicker, Sage Ledbetter.
There's been a Ledbetter before. Where was Big Cat from?
They're all from Auburn. Jacob Quittlebaum,
Nah,
Smoke Monday,
He came
Big
down
Cat Bryant,
of Joe Exotic's
and
stuff, didn't
Sage Ledbetter.
he? Wow.
Okay, Florida.
I like Smoke Monday. That's a
Is that
solid
sweet? Smoke
name.
Monday. I love that, man.
That and Bumper Pool.
I know. I kind of like Jacob Quittlebaum. Sounds like some little thing in a children's story. Florida has Jack Ruskell. I don't know if he's a terrier or not, but I like the name. Oh, and Umstead Sanders.
Like UM?
Umstead Sanders.
Is there a dash?
No,
No.
just Umstead. Like Dagwood Bumstead, but without the, yeah. Georgia has Zion Logue and Bill Rubright is their punter. Yeah, he hasn't caught any crap over the years.
Never.
Bill.
Not Zion.
All right, let's move on to Kentucky because we did have Smoke.
Hold on. What position is Bill?
He's a punter.
Oh, yeah.
Rubright.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I wish he was a holder, actually.
I wish he was a defensive lineman and offensive lineman.
Yeah.
There is no
Tight
way.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about Kentucky's got, okay, Cavoisley Smoke. That's big time. Cavoisley Smoke. They also have Tay Crooms.
So, Cavorsley Smoke, and it was Smoky.
Yeah. Smoke Monday.
So, if Smoke Monday,
Smoke.
sister,
Yes. Tay Crooms is a wide receiver. I love this one. This is, I didn't ask you where you went to school. I asked you what your name is. Jackson High, linebacker. Isn't that great? And then I had to write this one down, Bill, just because of a local play here. Cedric Dort.
brother?
I don't know. Junior defensive back, Cedric Dort, D-O-R-T.
Well, that could be like, what was it, the P. Ryan connection
Yeah.
in Florida, and they were like cousins
Yeah,
or something like that?
yeah. And then this one, just because I loved it, the Yusuf Corker.
Yusuf, that's Yusuf is becoming more common.
Yes, Yusuf Corker.
Like, I know a couple of Yusufs, and I've seen a couple of Yusufs play basketball. I mean, that name's becoming more common.
Well, and there was a pretty famous guy named Corker that played at Oklahoma State back in the day, John Corker, back in the
There
70s.
was also one that they just did a 30 for 30 on named Sosa.
That's right. He was a bat corker. That's right. Finally, for Kentucky, Colin Goodfellow. He's a punter.
Collins, maybe like second or third string on there.
Yeah, but Goodfellow.
He's a good
You got to
fella.
keep your friends close and your enemies closer. All right, LSU. Who are you going to call? This defensive end, Ray Parker. That's right, Ghostbusters. This name just struck me, Bill. Cordale Flott. Yeah, who's on that?
That's another name that took a lot of or gained more traction was Cordell. Like
Yeah.
like in the beginning you never
Yeah,
really heard it,
right.
and then all of a sudden just like 50 people.
Right, but this is Cordale Flott. How about Zaven Fountain?
That's pretty good.
All right. Mississippi State. Brad. Okay, I can't read this one. I'll go on down. I'll show you why, but I'm sure that Brad gets some stuff for his last name. How about Jorquarius Spivey? So it's George up to the Geor apostrophe Quarius Spivey. I like it. Or Camp Tice. How about Powers Warren, which actually there was a guy named Warren Powers that was like a politician back in the day. LaQuinston Sharp and Tucker Day. Okay, look right under Mississippi State and see what Brad's name is and tell me that he
It's not
doesn't
Keselowski.
have. How about it? See?
Oh,
Now he's got a future in film at some point, most likely, but
Brad, I'm sorry.
yeah, and he's a tight end, so that doesn't help his cause. So Missouri, let's keep moving, Bill.
You
How about
sure there's not some silent letters in there?
how about Towski Dove?
Oh, that's pretty good.
I like it.
That's a pretty good name, Towski.
I like this one. Zach Schachter. Is that not great? That sounds like a car. That sounds like a car salesman.
I bet he hangs out with Brad.
Brad and Zach Schachter, and you know what happens better than anywhere else. Angel Matute and Cannon York. All right, I'm going to move on now. Ole Miss, Kincaid Dent. Snoop Connor.
Angel McToot.
Snoop Connor. Wasn't that the name? What was the guy's name in Tropical Thunder? In Tropic Thunder.
Oh.
Snoop something, wasn't it? Had booty juice or booty, whatever that was. You don't remember that? Yeah, at the beginning of the movie, there was like a commercial, and I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, what is this? And it was like Snoop Connor. How about Octavius Cooley? Okay, this is a good one. It's a shame. This is one of those, when I wrote it down, Bill, I thought, Bill's going to ask me if it's a defensive guy, and it's going to break his heart when I tell him it isn't. KC Swarm. Sincere David. That's okay. He lines up next to Momo Sanogo. That's a great name. Who put you out of the game, Scott? Momo Sanogo.
Sanogo.
He took everyone out. Just like Corbett Glick, quarterback at South Carolina. Pandrecius Davis, running back. And I just love this one. Jazwan Outlaw.
Already, just the name that Brian's got, it's number one on the list.
Help me.
Number one.
Better than Tanner Dobrookie?
Yep.
Grant Furking? Bobby Brown III?
Ooh.
Deuce Wallace? And then I do have one last name here from Tennessee, Bill, that I think this guy could be related to our friend Brad.
Okay.
He's the long snapper for Tennessee. His name is Riley Lovingood.
Well, Riley and Zach and Brad, I'm sure hang out together.
Enjoy the time in the SEC. That's right. That's our all SEC team. I actually, Bill, went ahead and took the liberty of cleaning up that mess. So over the next couple of weeks, we've got Mid-America, Big Ten, and then we'll pick our All-American team from that. Quiddy Pay started this whole journey for me.
I don't know. Are you sure it wasn't Master T?
No, it was. Don't you remember we were talking about these guys, and I was looking down, and we're doing the draft or whatever, and we were looking at these players, and I went, Bill, Quiddy Pay? And you went, yeah. I went, Quiddy Pay? And that started us down the road.
I feel like we may have an all-star already. Like, he could be the best name out there.
I like Smoke Monday.
Smoke Monday's pretty solid.
Smoke Monday's pretty high up the list.
Like, that's a pretty solid name.
Yeah, well, when we get around to the Mid-America, I'm going to throw some out there, Bill. I'll just give you a hint. Tight end, and he's not related to any of the people that we've worked for over the years, but the tight end is Jack McCracken. I'll just leave it at that.
You're listening to Excessive Celebration on Crossover Sports Radio.
Big shout out to Khalil Pimpleton
Get
with Central
that
Michigan.
app today. And if you haven't, click like, comment, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, Excessive Celebration.
And if you're Capone Blue from Kent State, give me a call. That's the greatest name of all time.
Everybody.
Yeah, who's that happy? Nobody in Stillwater, apparently, Bill. I'll tell you who's happy, Billy. Daniel Berger wins the PGA tournament, the Charles Schwab at the Colonial, in a very interesting Sunday when twice in the final 2 or 3 holes, guys right there with a chance to win it had the inevitable horseshoe ball, where Xander Schauffele's ball came back to him after going all the way in and coming back out. And then the young 23-year-old from Japan had his ball take a hard left turn at the hole and come out. Daniel Berger wins it, Bill. He'd been injured, missed most of last year, but he's won 2 tournaments prior to this one, Billy. Both of them were in Memphis at the St. Jude, and he won both of them in the second week of June when that tournament was held the week before the U.S. Open. Obviously, all of that calendar changed this year, but you don't want to mess with Daniel Berger if he's playing in a tournament in the second week of June.
You know what I'd love to hear from just any athlete in any sport, and like golf was probably the easiest one to stay ready for, but what these guys were doing in their off time to stay ready or to get ready for their seasons, like basketball would be, I think, probably the easiest to come back from, even if you haven't played. But a lot of those guys don't have gyms or maybe not even access to some gyms to even play. So, like, I don't want to hear from LeBron, who may have a gym at his house. I want to hear from the guy that's like the 8th man who may not have a gym or may not have a goal or whatever at his house, or he stays in an apartment because he may get traded.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, Bill, most of those people do have access or do have a personal trainer that they have hired, right?
Like, are you just getting a Y membership at
well,
that point?
Well,
like,
what,
hey, let me just pay for the whole thing.
What I'm thinking, though, is if you're not able to go train, then most likely those personal trainers were spending their time on the computer, setting it up, going, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through these things, whether it's CrossFit training. I mean, all of it's going to be different depending on the sport, and it's a great question, but I have to believe that as much of it for these guys truly, Bill, is mental. You know, how do you keep that edge?
Have you seen the picture of the Joker and how much weight he's lost?
Yes.
I wonder how that would affect his game.
Yeah, and who knows when he comes back how much time it's going to take for him.
It's very reminiscent of he looks a lot like Porzingis now.
Yeah.
To where he's more of a slender build, but I thought all that weight before kind of aided in his game.
Almost looked like he was
bully people.
Hanging out in a sauna with CC Sabathia or something, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Frank Thomas.
Nugenics, get it.
That's right. You'll love everybody. I'm heading to the sauna with
That's another
CC Sabathia.
All these dudes that like go out, and I know there are some people that are very strict on what they support and what they promote, but how many of them really use some of those products or really don't use? They're just like, man, you know what? Mountain Dew is nasty. But, hey, Mountain Dew tastes great for me.
That's right. It'll tickle your innards. Yeah. Yeah. That used to be the commercial when I was a kid for Mountain Dew. Yeah.
I can't get behind Mountain Dew. My son loves it because of his one of his grandpas, and I can't do Mountain Dew.
No. There's another one.
Mellow Yellow.
You know, there's some. What is it called? There's something in the South that a good friend of mine that I used to work with. Her name's Crystal, and she's from North Carolina. Sunkiss? No. It's kind of a Mountain Dew thing, but maybe somebody can let us know. If not, I'll have Crystal get that information to me because it's going to bug me if I don't. But Bill, it was a great golf tournament. Seriously, the names that were fighting it out at the end. Colin Morikawa, another guy whose body changed is Bryson DeChambeau. That guy he looked like I'm not sure. Kind of looked like McGuire right before the '98 season a little bit. Justin Rose, Xander Schauffele. That kid's really fun to watch. Patrick Reed. I don't like Patrick Reed. Bubba Watson was up there. It was a great tournament, though, Bill. A lot of good players.
Do you think because of all the talent, and especially young talent in golf, that has come out over the past couple of years, and them not having that one dominant guy hurts golf?
No.
You think it aids it?
I think what was going to hurt golf was if Brooks Koepka kept winning all the tournaments because he's not a very likable guy.
Right.
I think the guys like Justin Thomas, Schauffele, these younger guys that are coming along that seem to be less enamored with themselves, and I would even say a guy that was easy to pull for early on and then got tougher to pull for is Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
He was a guy that when he was like a swashbuckling kid when he won at 19 or 20 years old, and then he just became this, almost like this Tron, this machine kind of thing, and the emotion went away, and it almost looked like the fun went away for him.
Phil Mickelson.
Yeah,
Junior,
to some degree, yeah. And that. So no, I one thing, Bill. I don't come in here every week wanting to sound like the old guy. I really don't, but I can't get away from it.
Let me adjust your audio then.
Okay.
Back in my day.
Yeah, but what I'm going to say is going to sound like the old guy. And what that is that each generation as we go, we try to figure out some way to tie some specific event that separates our existence within watching a given sport or whatever it might be from what everyone else did before or what's going to come after.
Right.
Well, what you're seeing today is the biggest, and so that's because that's who we are. We're human beings, and we want to be associated with that point in time, if you will. And Bill, I think it's always changing. I think it's, I don't think there's like a time when okay, it's going to stop and people aren't going to pay attention because there's not necessarily a Tiger. Harold Varner's story, the third story, was great. Tony Finau, you talk about somebody that people can get behind, that's a person of color, that is articulate, intelligent, forthright, honest, a guy that everybody could just absolutely pull for. So I look at the guys like Finau and Xander Schauffele and the Dustin Thomases of the world and those guys as the future, and I think it's really bright. I really do.
Would it okay, so if you take the whole group, right, versus say maybe we don't ever have a Tiger again or a Jack Nicklaus that comes along and kind of just dominates a game for a while, but we have a group of say 4 to 5 golfers that dominate and they just kind of trade off, and maybe you get some randos in there occasionally that win a tournament here and there, but mainly it's those 4 or 5. I would think promoting that would be a lot easier and gaining interest a lot more than having a very diverse group of golfers that...
You're absolutely right.
That, you get one that wins one week and another. It makes it... I don't want to say it makes it tough to watch, but
you want some some familiarity with what you're watching. Bill, here's why I think that problem solves itself. Because the greatest thing about golf to me is that when you don't have the Jack and you don't have Tiger, you don't have the King before Jack, and you had Arnold Palmer.
Right.
Some of the greatest golf in the world was that time period before Nicklaus completely took the mantle away from Palmer, and you had Trevino and Billy Casper and Gene. I mean, oh gosh, I'm blowing it now with names, but you had a tremendous number of guys. Chichi Rodriguez that were really good, Trevino that were right there,
Greg Norman,
Watson, and so these guys were always right there in the middle of it. Oh, Gary Player.
Yeah.
Gary Player is who I was
Watson.
trying to think of.
I remember watching like Tom Watson going, I do not like this guy, and just his game was just always just. He was never going to make a bad shot, and he was never going to hurt himself.
No.
And that would he was always steady, and that crushed me every time because in the beginning I grew up kind of like a Norman fan, and
Sure.
I always wanted to see the Shark win one. And then it kind of turned into the David Duval thing.
Yeah.
I love David Duval.
Yeah, but Bill, that's that second period. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. So when Nicklaus started to fade, Watson was the next guy, 10 years younger, but he
Yeah.
didn't quite take hold the mantle all the way. So you did have the Normans and the David Duvals that came along, and some guys that Vijay Singh for a while was
Yeah.
just very difficult to beat. Ernie Els, some of these guys,
Ooh, Ernie was good.
you know,
Yeah.
that kind of came along. And so I think it's good almost no matter what. And I think that what you're seeing now, these young guys that we're talking about, and let's not forget guys like Matthew Wolff and Victor Hovland, Peter Uihlein, all these kids coming out of Stillwater that have a chance to be really good. What'll happen, I believe, it's kind of already beginning to happen. 4 or 5 of these guys over the next year and a half, I think, will kind of separate themselves,
Right.
and you'll see that kind of just like today. You got Rory, you got Dustin Johnson. You know, there's 3 or 4 of those guys that just kind of feed off at
You
each
know
other.
what I would love to see, just to throw a little wrench in the golf atmosphere. Take all that technology away that they have in all these clubs and balls, right? And go back to yesteryears when you're playing. I wouldn't say go back all the way to wooden sticks, but maybe the time period right when they started coming out with your aluminums or your metal clubs, and let them play with those in one tournament. Exclusively one time a year you play with old technology. You don't play with this stuff that if I tap a ball it's going 200 yards.
Would you see? Frankly, that's cool. I'm all for that because I think it's paying homage.
Like a retro game of some
Right,
sort. Yeah.
but I think if you're going to do that, to be fair, and not that these guys need fairness, but just to be fair, I'd want it to be a course like Greenbrier or a traditional older, shorter course, not a course that's made
No, that
from
would be awesome.
7,600 yards.
Tiger
or-
out there can only drive a driver 150
Yeah,
yards.
see, that doesn't do anything for me. That's like watching Tom Brady off the tee. I don't get anything.
But then
out
you
of it.
just change the pars, right? You change it. This
That's
is
a
par,
6.
Par 8.
Yeah, this is a 6. Do you know, Bill? Long time ago, and the course is gone now. There used to be this little, like a little resort in San Marcos, Texas, which is down south of Austin and just a little north of San Antonio, near New Braunfels and that area. San Marcos. It was called Aquarina Springs. It was like swimming and a hotel, but it had a golf course on it. It had a par 6. And I think they took the claim of being the only legitimate par 6 that was rated in the U.S. at the time. And it was like a long par 5, Bill. It was ran right down the highway. It was like number 8 or 9 on that course. And I think I maybe got it 10 or 11 on it. It was probably
Wow.
10 or 11 when I played it.
Happy Gilmore got it in one shot.
Par 6. Well, that guy's good, though.
You just spend all day out there.
You know, you take a beating from Bob Barker, you owe yourself a decent golf game after that, don't you?
I want to know how you can beat up an alligator, but Bob Barker just knocks you out. Like,
Hey, I don't know. Alligators may be on the dais. Did you like the way I did? Next week it's Harbor Town, Bill, and that's a great golf tournament. You've got all the big boys, but El Tigre is going to be there. He hasn't been to Harbor Town, Bill, since the 90s. So I don't know if there's some issue that he has with South Carolina.
I feel like, at this day and age, I don't know if it aids him not to play in a lot of tournament or it helps him just because of all the issues of injury and stuff like that. But if you are going to hunt and pick, I would pick tournaments that I've done well at in the past because I feel like that's your best shot.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I think this tournament's being played at a different time. I think this used to be played right after Augusta, maybe
yeah,
or 2 weeks after.
But I mean, in this day and age, that probably getting back out there at any point in time is going to help his golf games.
Yeah, and he's going to know best in terms of that's the thing. These guys probably set this training regimen up a year in advance, right? Based on when they want to be up for the given majors that they're playing in and be at the. And all of this changed. So who knows?
Think about, we'll say I'll give it 3 to 4 years from now. So who all are you going to lose? You're probably seeing LeBron on his last year. You're probably seeing Tiger Woods somewhere near his last years, if not sooner. You're going to lose a lot of big-name guys that aren't going to. Don't
you think Woods, though? I mean, he'll go play the Champions thing, and he'll play the majors for a long time. I think he'll play the Masters. I think he'll be a favorite for the Masters till he's in his 50s.
Does it still count if he wins on the senior tour?
It doesn't count in terms of
the majors.
No.
Oh.
No.
Because he could just rack it up after that.
Sure.
That's you want to talk about unfair advantage. So I don't know what the age limit is, if it's 55 or whatever it is. But when you get in that seniors
50.
tour, it's 50. Don't you have the advantage over every other guy
of course.
when you hit 50?
Absolutely, and that's what happens.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Do you think? I don't think he'd ever play in that, but that would be funny to see.
Oh, I think he will. You think
he's going to play in the senior?
Yeah, I bet he does.
No.
Why not? Why not?
No.
Why not?
I don't see it.
I bet he does. I bet Phil's going to tear it up there when he gets his chance.
I guarantee you Phil's going to go.
Yeah. Too much money to be made on the side for Phil and his gambling habit that he has, which certainly no one that played in the NBA and had a 10-part series made about them.
Nobody said anything about that. Allegedly.
Phil, when we come back, can we talk about baseball's ruby slippers?
Okay.
Can we?
Maybe.
Talk about baseball's ruby slippers.
You're listening to Excessive Celebration on Crossover Sports Radio. Reminding you, get that app today. And as always, find us on Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Click your heels together 3 times, and we'll be right back. Just that old ragtime sports show.
I know, that's where that should be the music that comes in when we're talking like we know what we're doing, Bill. Bill? Did you not say something about click your heels 3 times?
Click them. Click them.
Didn't you say that? Because I was reading about the continuing story of Major League Baseball and its inability to have its defecation consolidated, Bill.
Oh, they're defecating.
They need to have their defecation consolidated so they aren't canoeing up Defecation Creek without positive means of locomotion. Because that's where they are right now, because they're all a bunch of idiots. Both sides are expecting the public sentiment to go their way, and both sides are failing miserably. But Bill, the whole reason for the Ruby Slipper statement was what the head of the Players Association said. Tony Clark. You know what he said today? It's time to get back to work. Tell us when and where. Here's the interesting thing. The March 26th agreement, Bill, once the pro rate was established that they were going to get paid per game, what was decided, which was full pay, at that point, it was a done deal. At that point, the owners could say, this is how many games we're playing, and the players were obligated to do it. There was one little clause, Bill, in the agreement that said this, quote, using best efforts to play as many games as possible. That phrase is what this has all been about. This whole thing, now, it's not even money, because what the Players Association is saying is, okay, you made your bed, guys. Tell us when and where. We're going to get paid for whatever it is. And the interesting thing about this now is this could have happened already, Bill. The owners could have said a month ago, 78 games, and the players most likely would have taken it. But the owners used the time to still get paid as much as they could get paid for TV contracts while only dishing out. That's why they went with 50 games or 48, and then it was 82. And then, so this whole thing has always been about the owners getting paid. And here's the silly thing, Bill. In 2 years, they're getting ready to get a brand new TV contract from TBS that goes along with Fox and goes along with ESPN. It's another $2 or $3 billion. So whatever little bit they're losing in, whether it's 50 games or 68 games, is nothing compared to what money they're about to make in 24 months. And they're doing all this over basically pennies when you look at the big picture. And this same issue, Bill, is now spilling over. They're only less than 2 calendar years away, Bill, from a new labor agreement. This whole thing is collapsing. It's ridiculous.
If you show up to your job tomorrow and work a half day, are you going to expect to get paid your full 8 hours, 10 hours, however long you work?
No.
Am I the one not understanding this? Like, how hard would it be to come to an agreement of, hey, listen, we're in a weird time right now. Let's take, which I've heard said many times, we play way too many games anyway, and most of it's absurd. And by the time you get to the playoffs, whoever's going to win the World Series is 89 and 72. Like, it's ridiculous, right? So since this is what it is...
And that's with cheating.
Right. Red Sox. That's, it's one of those deals that, as a human being, not as a baseball player or an owner of a team, you have to comprehend that this is just a weird year that you're going to have to make some compromises. And I would feel that the top 2% or whatever it is that get paid those millions upon millions to play this game may feel like that. They may feel like, oh, hey, we need every bit of money. I guarantee you the bottom 98 that don't make millions upon millions,
They want to play.
they want to
whatever,
play
yeah.
in whatever form capacity because
Yeah.
they've got 2 kids at home
Yeah.
that need food or a new house or whatever.
Right. But you know, Bill, human nature is and everything you said is spot on. I don't disagree with any of it. But Bill, if you got two sides that already don't trust each other,
Right.
and I open my statement up to you that I'm negotiating with, and I go, you know, these are really weird times, and at that point, if I'm on the other side of that, I'm already reaching back and making sure my wallet's still in my
Right,
pocket.
right.
And I don't know how you get beyond that. If there's, I just don't know how you do it, but I don't know how you don't. I mean, how does the guy go from a week ago, I'm 100% sure we're going to have a baseball season, to yesterday going, yeah, this is a total failure, and I have no idea whether we're going to play
Do
or
you
not.
think you could incentivize the season? So maybe teams making the playoffs make X amount of dollars extra?
I don't know, Bill.
I mean, they already do that anyway.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
yeah.
even more so to incentivize even just
yeah.
aggressiveness to try and even play baseball well. But
I just don't know, Bill. I don't know how much of those kind of add-ons or whatever.
how much do you think baseball would get hurt by a salary cap? Especially because you're not getting all the best athletes anyway.
I don't ever see baseball succumbing to a salary cap as long as the players' union has the strength that it has now. Having said that, Bill, I heard this afternoon that there are 8 owners who basically don't care whether they get
Oh,
a
yeah.
deal or not.
Because they make money regardless. Yes.
And so if you get to a point where they're willing to sit there and lose money, now I don't know what the other 22 or 24 or whatever it is, I don't know about that. But at some point you break their back, you break the union's back if you just stop playing. Because that's the thing that a lot of people don't quite grasp in most cases. If the team goes away, the billionaire keeps his mansion.
Listen, I'm just saying, I'm available. I'll play for any amount of money, however many games you want to play. I'm not going to fight you over pennies or if I'm playing 50 or 100 games. Sign me up.
Bill, they don't.
Everywhere but Baltimore.
Bill, they don't have the stick out there that you put the ball on, though.
I'm okay
That's
with
what
it.
you're used to.
I'm not going to say it's going to be great baseball. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm not going to say it is either.
I'm just saying, if you want to see a couple of 1-0 games, I've got some guys that I work with that'll go hit some
Hey,
balls for you.
all I know is I can mess people up when I'm playing the show if all I do is bunt. I throw that bunt down. I'm going to get contact. Yeah, yeah. Well, Bill, it's really sad. I mean, it is that's where we are. But the fact of the matter is, the owners, they shot that 50 out there, knowing that it wouldn't be accepted, and knowing that if they argued about it, the further this went, the more likely 50 was the only games they'd get to play. They purposely slow played this thing, and I don't think either side looks very good now, and the commissioner looks like an idiot.
It just looks like a mess because you come off of what can arguably be considered one of the best teams to ever win the World Series in the Astros, and the cheating scandal that went on there. Then you go to another cheating scandal allegedly with the Red Sox, and then you go into the COVID-19 break, and then you get into this. That's not helpful for your sport, on a sport that already has problems marketing itself or marketing its stars or even really marketing some of their teams.
But we self-reported and sent our player to the West Coast so that it would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, the day and age of where I think the commissioner, to improve this sport just overall, needs to get a grasp on the guys that play this game, the owners who own these teams, and then B, you gotta, in lack of better words, knock off the nonsense.
Yeah.
So as far as what the Pirates have been doing for years and telling me that they're putting out a great product, no. Like, that's nonsense.
No.
Like, you can easily see that they are horrible.
Yeah, butts in seats, show up, support the neighborhood. Yeah.
Like, you're not making a push for anything. And then the fact
trust
that,
the process.
yeah, that's a long 20,
Trust the 30-year process.
20 to 30-year process we got going on. I mean,
It's load management. We don't want to have to carry that trophy around too much. We're load managing.
We're going to rest our first baseman for 30 games.
That's right. Yeah. Bill, shifting gears. Let's talk NFL for a minute.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Sosa.
We can talk about Sosa. I'm opening up the floor for you and the Magic Cork Man.
What?
Please.
Your overall impressions of every. Okay, let's rewind. Let's go back to the day and age of you've got the lockout, and then you've now got McGuire and Sosa doing their thing at the time when all that was happening.
Can I set the mood?
Dim the lights.
And there's this, and there's this, and there's that, and there's that, and there's that, and there's this, and that.
I thought you were gonna do the chest bump, peace sign.
No, I'm trying to find that groove. I'm trying to find that time.
So at the time when all that was happening, what was your interest in baseball? Like, it had to be at an all-time high, I would think, right? Because you're seeing stuff that you've never seen before. Realistically, in our lifetime, you've seen guys hit 30 home runs, maybe 40, but these guys were clipping it.
Yeah.
So you can even throw Junior in there until he tailed off a little
I
bit.
would say that for me, Bill, just personally, I was more interested in what Sammy Sosa was doing simply because it was happening with the Cubs. It was prior to the Cubs' golden years that came here not too long ago. And I don't think I've made it a secret that I hate the St. Louis Cardinals. I despise the Cardinals. I didn't like Oakland.
Right.
I didn't like the Canseco and him when they were together out there.
Yes, brothers.
And I don't even have an issue with Mark McGuire, really. But that shirt with the bat and the little birds on it is just I can't get beyond it. I'm sorry. But then you find out Sosa's just a big jerk.
Well, so everything I gather from watching all this and watching him speak years and years later after all of this has happened, I don't know if he's naive or he's convinced himself that he didn't cheat or whatever the case is.
He was not so naive as to claim that he couldn't speak English or understand it when the questions that he didn't want to have to answer.
And then whenever
it was worth a try.
What was it? Jeremy Shaft asking him, so you've got comparisons between your, what you look like then and what you look like now. Well, I just put on a lotion. I want to moisturize. What?
Yeah, what was in that?
What? No, you wanted to make it look like you weren't Sammy Sosa and stop getting called a cheat, because I guarantee you that happened that whole year after.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And what do we do with that, Bill, long term, when you think about Bonds and McGuire and Sosa? Does it eventually just kind of diffuse? And I'm saying 50 years from now, does it just kind of diffuse? And because, frankly, nobody talked about Babe Ruth and, what a drunk ass that he was, or Ty Cobb. You never heard any of that.
It may be one of those things that gets tied in, but over a period of time, it's going to be forgotten to some degree, because even my son growing up is going to look at a record book someday and go, Barry Bonds is a home run, single season home run king, and not notice the asterisk or whatever by it. So
should we just let people juice up? Is that the answer? Seriously, I am serious.
I am a big proponent of, you've got a juiced up league and then you got regular baseball. I mean, I guarantee you more people are going to watch the Juiced Up League. You let the pitchers take files and rosin and whatever else out to the mound and let them go at it, and let's see who can hit or who can pitch, or I don't know.
So you have like the Gaylord Perry
Right.
League and the I don't know, Cork Bat League on the other side. Pine Tar.
Derek Jeter,
Pine Tar
and,
League.
and yeah. Baseball, outside of the absurd rules that are unspoken and whatnot, and then I should say not absurd, outdated stuff, right? And some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. But if truly baseball was meant to gain kids' interest and get the best athletes over basketball and over football, you got to show where was the Have Fun campaign that Bryce Harper started?
Yeah.
Where did that go?
It almost appears that the push from a grassroots level for baseball is a competition that's going on in Latin and Central America versus soccer.
Oh yeah. Well,
It
even
is
then,
not in the United States.
I can't remember the percentage. The Dominican Republic puts out more baseball players than almost anybody, and it's crazy how absurdly good they are at a very, very young age. And now we see your guy in Japan,
Yeah.
just crushing guys.
Korea.
Like, there's a lot of guys around the world that I don't think get looks like they should. And no knock on the American players, but frankly, I think the American players get a little bit more favoritism towards that, and they get held in the league a little bit longer than they probably really should. When this guy in Dominican Republic is just crushing people, or Korea, or wherever.
Do you think part of that has to do with the fact that you've got a little more time to surveil these guys that you're going to
Probably.
spend money on over a longer period of time in the States, and it's a little bit of a, hey, the kid throws it 104 miles an hour, he can paint the corners,
Yeah.
but I have no idea where he came from, what his background is, what kind of parents he has,
how old he
how
is,
old
right?
he is. Yeah,
He's
How-
97.
Yeah,
He looks
yeah,
12.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
and so I don't know how much of that plays into it either.
But you could be that next guy that finds Neon Badeau. So
But the fact that this is the conversation we're having proves that baseball hasn't got it figured out, Bill.
well, yeah, because so when we normally, or really any sports show talks about baseball, right? It's not, oh, hey man, did you check out that great Mike Trout commercial and what the Angels are doing in their community? or
Right,
anything?
right.
No, it's who cheated next. Maybe a trade you get in there, but it's, oh, the Yankees are winning 7, but it's not. Well, Aaron Judge is leading the Yankees with 14 home runs and crushing it, and this is why they're winning. It's very just unified.
It's clinical.
Yeah.
It's clinical. It's not personal. And that's what's so stupid, Bill, because you've been preaching this ever since we've been doing this show, is that why doesn't baseball, because of the intimacy of that game, because it is, no
Right.
matter the fact that you got this big, it's still, guys have hats on, they're not wearing helmets, they're not covered up, they go up to the plate, they're standing there, there's interaction. Why aren't they marketing the players better than what they do? Because we can talk all day about what has happened to the NBA and how the players run the league, but it's also, Bill,
Yeah.
a very profitable, growing league. So you give up a little power and you grow the league, and I'm with you. I don't think they've done it.
I would even say, even on the broadcasting side, having people that are entertaining to a degree of a Tony Romo. I mean,
Which is next. We're going to talk about a survey on the NFL broadcasters. Bill did not know that. He just simply exhibits genius.
I vibed it. But like making A-Rod's okay, but I can't sit there and watch A-Rod for an hour on a time talk about whatever. But I can watch Tony Romo call a football game. David Ortiz, same way. He's okay, but after a while, I'm like, what is he saying? How's it going?
What about Jessica?
Hit and miss. There's the combination.
I just like when she talks and then smiles.
The combination
That's how sad
between Shambi, Mendoza, and if they put A-Rod or whoever else is with them, there's something there that doesn't work, and it feels very awkward and forced a lot.
Yeah, but it's
think-
not. Bill, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about. It's always awkward. I mean, Tim McCarver with Joe Buck was awkward. I
See,
mean, the whole thing was
I
awkward.
thought that was not bad, but it's.
I had trouble with that.
I don't know who you bring in there because I don't know the personality that would fit. Like Brian Wilson, the pitcher for the Giants, had a great personality, but I don't know if he would translate over. AJ Przinsky, who I've been a big fan of, was a catcher for the Chicago White Sox. I think is a very, very good.
How about Dykstra?
Dykstra would be a good one. Put him and Kruk back on there. There you go.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
And maybe you throw in the Giambi brothers.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's good.
Something
That's
that
good.
I think baseball gets so wrapped up and everything's got to be a suit and tie kind of deal.
How about
that-
Nomar?
Nomar, I think. Like, see, David Ross, I think, provides that. I
Mhm.
think David Ross, I don't think he excels all the way, but he's only been broadcasting for a couple
Yeah.
of years.
Yeah.
But I think eventually David Ross could be that guy that kind of breaks that mold of, you know what? Let's bring a little bit more Harry
Yeah.
Carey out and
You
not.
know, I was somewhat surprised that I thought Smoltz did a good job, and I never.
Smoltz is not bad.
You know, and he's not somebody that you go, oh, I can't wait, but
Yeah.
he's good. He's good, and he doesn't overplay it. He broadcasts like he pitched.
Yeah, for me,
He did.
He's always brought the heat.
Yeah, just.
get Rocker up there.
Oh my God, we'll have to have that story sometime. Where's that 30 for 30?
It would be interesting if Smoltz, I always felt like, just loosened up a little bit.
Yeah, but he's kind of the Aaron Rodgers kind of a feel to me. He doesn't really ever kind of like let
I
go.
wonder if they could ever get Glavin, Maddox, and Smoltz.
Oh,
to
that'd be
do it.
fun.
Like that would be.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I always wanted, like we were talking before, like a couple of weeks ago. I always wanted to get like Ron Darling and some of those guys that were, with the Mets doing their deal.
You know, your 30 for 30 for
Beyonce.
baseball that I would love to see would be the trio that were in Atlanta and what they went through and what they think of pitchers now, and especially
That
guys,
would be good.
especially guys that throw your 100 miles an hour, and how they're able
Right.
to adjust and what they did pitching wise to adjust to all these big power hitters.
You know, the interesting thing about that team too, Bill, I think that team was more popular outside of Atlanta
Oh, yeah.
than it was in
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta. My father-in-law, he was Atlanta Braves, TBS. They were on.
Yeah.
You could watch them, and they couldn't draw flies at the old Fulton Stadium,
Yeah.
Coliseum there. Even so, when you said that about what they thought, I'd like to hear those guys freely talk about the Atlanta market in terms of if they ever felt like what did it take to put people in the stands when they were as
Well,
good
'cause-
as they were.
And you also at the time, so not only did you have just a ridiculous pitching staff, you've had just an amazing combination of veteran players, so your Gary Sheffields of the world, and young talent coming up, whether it be Andrew Jones or
Chipper Jones. Oh yeah, it was a beautiful thing to watch. They were so They were the
They were the Astros before. The
Yeah, I
Astros
was going to
without
say the
Sheik.
Patriots without the trophies.
Yeah.
They're the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta at the time was the team to be a fan of because the Yankees were okay, but they weren't on the way up yet because Posada and all them hadn't
Right.
really made it yet.
Right.
And Atlanta, you were just like, okay, they're going to win one time. They're going to win one. They're going to win one. And with that pitching staff, you're like,
And
yeah,
that
they're
was,
definitely gonna
Bill, that was for me so fun because every one of those guys, you're talking about Smoltz, Glavin, Maddox, they were all,
win. Nagy,
Yeah.
or Avery.
yeah. But those three specifically, I remember, were so effective and so efficient. And it, Smoltz sometimes, but the other guys never even looked like they were working that hard.
No. The funny part was so the
Especially
years
Glavin.
the years
Like
they,
watching Rob Lowe pitch or something.
they brought in John Rocker and like the extreme opposite of all three of those guys because they were always so calm
With
and
his OAN Network T-shirt
Oh,
on.
man. John Rocker just running in, and then he was the one that used to slide in.
Oh
the back.
yes,
Oh, man.
yes, and then had his ordeal in New York and other places, and I'm sure is leading a quiet life somewhere outside of the. I don't know that he'd be real popular today. Let's put it that
I
way.
was saying probably not.
Probably not. Bill, you brought up broadcasting, and I got a couple of things here from the NFL perspective I wanted to share with you.
Save it for the break.
Oh,
Or after the break.
for the break.
For the break, yeah. You guys won't hear it.
It's
but
going to
it'll
be so awesome.
You're listening to Excessive Celebration on Crossover Sports Radio. Get that app today, and as always, paint the black.
Have you seen
Oh, you all just missed the best part of the show.
That's why I did it before the video came up. Oh, there it is.
There it is. You
Look
just
at there. Look at
Yeah,
that. That's what I'm talking about.
Popping and locking him.
Yeah, and now I got bursitis in my shoulder.
He's on the DL.
Yeah, I'm on the down low.
And download that app today.
Good job, Bill. Yeah, who are we? Where are we? How can they find us? We're so wrapped up into everyday existence that we sometimes fail to do that. Where are we?
I don't know. I'm just waiting on the next documentary of something to come out that'll capture our attention until sports come back. You saw the month-long Joe Exotic thing. Now, what's the next one, right? Ozarks isn't coming back on for a minute. So what's the next thing?
I know, I've been watching this Agatha Christie thing at home with Carol. I got chapter 3 to go to find out who killed this old lady.
You know what I watched the other day and I found hilarious, and I still got the mascot one recorded because I haven't watched them all. Have you seen the ESPN commercials about the ESPN?
Oh, yeah, the best of?
Yeah.
Oh, those are great.
Some of those I forgot about.
Yeah.
And some of those are pretty funny.
Yeah. I still, of all of those, for some reason, the one that I like the most is our guy, what's his name? John. We listen to him on the way in when he's on late at night, on our way in sometimes.
Yeah.
He's walking into the elevator, and the New Jersey Devil is in the elevator, and he goes going up, and the Devil shakes his head no, and he steps back off the elevator. Yeah.
Is it Butchergrass?
No, it's African American guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I saw that one.
Yeah, that's hysterical. I don't know why that gets me, but he goes going up, and the Devil just, and he steps back off again. Yeah.
Like, I completely forgot about some of those.
Yeah.
I need to watch the mascot one. I recorded that one for my son, and we just haven't had time to watch it yet.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Bill, before we get into this little survey on NFL broadcasters, which is pretty interesting, and I think you'll find it to be interesting, any comments on the 49ers signing Kyle Shanahan to a 6-year contract?
I think he's worth it.
Is he worth 6 years?
I mean, So here's my thought on teams signing guys for like 4, 5, 6 years, whether they be players or coaches. If you're going to sign them for that long, let him stay for a majority of that contract. So if he's signing 6, he needs to stay for 4.
What if he wears a funky T-shirt that nobody
And
likes?
then he's out the door right away. If you sign a 4-year contract, you've got to stay 2. You got to stay 3. It can't be I cut you the next year, because it's very tiring, especially in the coaching system, and we see this all the time in college. That these guys sign these long-term deals and then 2 years later they're gone, right? Well, he never had a chance to get his system in. I think what Shanahan did with what he had around him as far as limited quarterback, developing a better run game, better than anybody probably thought it would be, wide receivers that are average at best, maybe an up-and-comer in Debo, we don't know.
Yeah, pretty good tight end.
Tight end, solid, obviously, yeah. Defensively, able to just galvanize that group to, I wouldn't call them a stifling defense, but knows how to play the game of football.
All right, well, let me ask you this, Bill. Jed York, owner, went through Dennis Erickson, Mike Nolan, Mike Singletary, Steve Mariucci, 4 coaches, 4 years. He gets this guy, sees something that he likes. Are we sure that the 6 years not a little bit of an overreaction? And here's the only reason I asked that question, Bill. Everything you said about player development, I absolutely agree. How much of this team's success is John Lynch? And maybe not so much Kyle Shanahan.
I would say a lot of it. I think
he got a 6-year deal too.
I mean, we'll find out this year. As far as I think, John Lynch has orchestrated a team that fits together really, really well. So no divas per se. Even Sherman settled down to some degree, right? If you want to call him a diva, that's fine.
I just think he speaks his mind. I don't think he's a guy that holds out or holds stuff over people's heads. I just think he speaks his mind.
The other part of that is they've known when to cut ties with guys that are bad influence to some degree, and it'll be interesting. I think this year and next year will be the tipping point of how they, whether it be free agency, draft, etc., or trades, that they can keep this thing going. Because we saw this with the Rams, and all of a sudden they jump up there, and the Rams are going to be somebody, and then now we're the Rams at the bottom of the division. Are they going to be the Rams, or are they still growing and consistently going to be in the playoff spot every year, or is it going to be these 1 or 2 years that they're going to be good and then drop back down?
Bill, how long has it been since we've said the NFC West is becoming a really difficult
a long time.
division?
What? Not since
Roman Gabriel.
Yeah, right.
Not since the Packers were in the NFC West.
I'm going to pose an interesting question to you.
Punt on third down.
With Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback
He's so handsome.
versus Cam Newton at that same quarterback position, who would you favor?
In that offense?
Yep.
See, this is the difficulty there is Cam healthy? Does he have is his shoulder healed?
We're assuming it can't be any worse than Jimmy Garoppolo.
I would say if Cam's healthy and 100%, I'd rather have Cam Newton.
But even if he wasn't healthy, like say there's still a little bit of a tweak in the shoulder, right? Maybe he didn't have enough zip on the ball or whatever. The run-pass option, or even the spread offense and running off that with their running backs that they have and Cam's ability to run and get it out of the pocket, that could be a scary thing in general.
Well, let me ask you this. Why not get Colin Kaepernick to do that?
Kaepernick? So out of all the teams that would sign Colin Kaepernick, I just don't believe it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I mean, because of the history there before.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go to Tampa Bay if he gets picked.
That'd be interesting. Do you think too much time has passed?
I think somebody's going to do it just because it'll sell tickets.
And see, I fully believe he should have been in the league the whole time. To what degree as a starter? Maybe not. As a backup, yes.
Absolutely, as a backup.
Especially,
I think he's going to have to be a backup.
Especially coming off of all the injuries that he came off with. He didn't have a great throwing motion. Yes, he had a great arm, but he didn't have touch on the pass. He fits in somewhere, and you can utilize him to his strengths, right? Because this guy with the ball in his hands is tough to bring down and tough to catch.
Or he was, as far
Yeah,
as we know.
right.
What about Seattle?
Seattle keeps coming out with reports all the time of, we tried to sign him back then, but we didn't, or we tried. I've at least heard of 2 opportunities. I think he would be a killer backup.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that would be a good fit.
I mean,
how about Kansas City?
No, you got 2 Michigan guys backing him up. I just don't see it. I mean, yeah. I mean, again, yeah. It's an upgrade over Henne, and it's an upgrade over Shea Patterson. The hardest part with the whole Kaepernick thing is you're going to be my backup, him accepting it, and the money that you're willing to pay a backup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, perfect fit maybe Philadelphia based on, I mean, I know they got Jalen Hurts now, but based on Carson Wentz is never healthy, and his style is similar to Kaepernick, or at least similar enough to where it could fit and still work.
I got a place for you that I think would be good for Kaepernick, because I don't think that if he gets back in the league, I don't think he has to say one word to be thought of as right all those years ago. I don't see him as having to be a big self-promoter. I think the second that if he's good enough to get signed and he walks out on that field in a uniform in the NFL, he won. Okay? How about the Tennessee Titans? Would that not be a place to go and not feel like you're, in New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco or Chicago or someplace where the light's bright and they're expecting you to be maybe more combative and now you've proven your point, you want to play ball? I'm just trying to think of a place where the guy could go actually do what he wants to do and play football and not have to put up with all the crap. I'm trying to find somebody to replace Ryan Tannehill, Bill. I've been trying for weeks.
It's never going to happen. He never gets in. How about the Raiders? They need a fifth quarterback, don't they?
We need a sixth quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we probably do. I think Rich Gannon's back on the roster again.
There's a number. Both New York teams, are they sold on their quarterback? He could fit in right there. Honestly, there's a bunch of teams. I would take him in Minnesota as a backup. There's a bunch of places where he could fit. He could go mentor number one pick. I just completely blanked on Burrow.
Cincinnati?
Yeah, Burrow.
What about New England?
They need a quarterback. There's...
Backing up in Buffalo.
I can't understand it. It doesn't...
Let me ask you this. Who gets... Just for fun,
okay.
Maybe this could be a question we could ask these people. Who gets signed first, fans? Cam Newton or Colin Kaepernick?
I'm going to say Cam.
I would think so, just because he's in the system to some degree. But
I don't know how, because there's really no way yet of him getting into a facility and showing people other than videotape, right?
But that's what Cam's had to do.
Yeah, Kaepernick, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. There's no way to get them fully engaged and say, hey, can you come in?
And you obviously have more recent data points with Cam.
And being out of the league for that time, yeah, you can say you've been with the trainer and doing all this stuff and showing video, but does that
Keith Trainer.
Yeah, does that really show me that you're ready to be in the NFL? I don't know. But most recently coming off an injury involving your shoulder and who knows what else, back, knees, everything else that Cam's been
Is there a chance that we don't see either one of these guys on a roster?
You're going to see Cam on a roster. I don't think there's any way we go a full season without Cam on a roster.
XFL's dead, though, Bill.
He's too talented, and even injuries, there's going to be injuries during the year, and maybe even more so this year than any other, that I don't think there's any way
Bill, who backs up Deshaun Watson in Houston? I don't know.
Well, it's not Hopkins.
No, it's not.
Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien.
I'm just trying to think of places where that offense would suit either one of those guys to some degree.
Anywhere, really. You take a look around the league, right? So we talked about the Jets, we talked about the Giants. Reasonably, those guys are shaky, right?
Yeah.
I
can't see either one of them in a Packers uniform.
I think Daniel Jones gets this year and next year to really prove himself. Yeah. I think Sam Darnold's year is this year, and if it's not this year, then he's gone.
How about this, Bill? Which one of those guys makes it and which one doesn't in New York? If you had to buy or sell, you got to buy one and sell the other.
I've got to pick one?
Yeah.
I'm going to take Jones.
Me too. But I'm picking him more because I think the Giants could probably prop him up better than the Jets can Darnold.
I just don't feel that Darnold's ever had it. I would have never drafted Sam Darnold. Sorry to say, I feel like he's a prima donna. I think he thinks he's better than what he is, and he throws a lot of interceptions because he's trying to force it, and he's not Brett Favre. That it would have to be a very, very specific team that he went to where he could thrive, but he's always going to be more like a Jameis Winston than a great quarterback.
So are you telling me a prima donna is not a good thing?
Not in this case, no.
See, because when I was playing ball, a good buddy named Bill Perry, Bill and I were wide receivers, high school, and our coach Lance told us that we weren't nothing but a couple of prima donnas. We went home thinking we had won the lottery. And now you're telling me all these years later that that's not a good thing.
Well, you probably wouldn't be called a post-Madonna.
I would just like to hang out with Madonna.
Well, you would have got to hang out with Dennis Rodman at that point, too.
okay, on second thought, I'd have rather hung out with Carmelo and his girlfriend. That sounds like a better time.
Well, I don't know. Then there was also those Carmen Electra years.
Well, that's true. With Dennis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But then he really kind of changed his whole thought process and became a fan of Korean men.
What if we find out years later Dennis Rodman is the most brilliant guy we've ever had on the planet?
When would that happen?
I don't know. I mean, anything's possible at this point.
Is that going to be a newscast from the White House, and President Gary Busey is going to release that information to us?
Over under what happens first? We have a baseball season, or Dennis Rodman is the most brilliant man?
I'll tell you what. If Dennis Rodman can get us to a baseball season, he is the most brilliant man.
Hey.
Yeah.
He might be able to do it.
Bill, you ready to jump into this survey?
Let's jump in.
2,693 people responded to this athletic survey.
I wasn't one.
I actually filled out 600 ballots.
Oh.
So, yeah.
All with hanging chads.
This is pregnant chads, hanging chads for my friends in West Palm Beach that can't figure out what they're doing. NFL broadcast survey, Bill. This first one is, what broadcast team do you like the best? And the three choices are Nance and Romo, Al Michaels and Collinsworth, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Nance and Romo.
Let me give you the percentages.
Okay.
28.2 for somebody.
That's Joe Buck.
9.4.
No, sorry. That's Joe Buck.
57.4.
57 is Romo.
Yes.
Joe Buck, for whatever reason, people just bash on this guy, is going to be your 9%, I'm assuming.
Yes, and then Michaels and Collinsworth. I'm going to tell you something. I like Joe Buck better than I do Al Michaels, and I'll tell you why.
I don't think you can go wrong with either. I don't know.
But I'm just Al Michaels. Do you believe in living off of a 40-year statement? Yes. I'm sick of it.
Hey, you know what that tells me? We just need one.
That's it. You counted down. Yeah, that's it.
Becky!
Don't go in there.
I would be interested, like, getting Michaels and, or even Joe Buck and Romo, some version of that together. So it would rather be Michaels and Romo or Joe Buck and Romo. Some version of connecting those two together would be better than what they've got so far. Collinsworth, I could live without.
I'm past
Aikman's
him.
too stale
Yes.
and dry, and especially since Romo came along and everybody was like, he's great. You saw Aikman be like, oh, I'm going to try and be on top of it, and here's what the quarterback... No, dude, stop.
Okay, this will be a fun one for you then. Of the networks, so there's 5 networks.
Right.
Okay. CBS, NBC, Fox, the NFL Network, and ESPN. I'm going to give you percentages. See if you can tell me which network gets which percentage, okay?
Okay. As far, what's the question, though?
It's your favorite.
To watch?
To watch the NFL, what network do you prefer?
But then you got to put in, like, the Terry Bradshaw.
So here, that's right. So here you go. The top network got 40.4%. The second network, you want me to
I want to guess that one. Is that NBC?
No.
Really? NFL Network.
The NFL Network got 4%.
Wow.
ESPN got 2%. Fox got 20.6%. NBC got 34.9%.
Wow.
And CBS got 40.4%. People love Tony Romo.
But then, so I wonder if they're adding in all the pre-show stuff.
There's a no. This
Okay.
well, that's just specifically. There are a bunch. I did not take all of these. There are questions about the pregame show. All of that. We can go into more detail.
I was going to say, because
This is simply your station.
the change up on Fox would be moving Bradshaw, Long, and Strahan and Jimmy Johnson, just including other people besides those guys, because it's stale after
Really?
100 years.
Do you think that it's a little
But
bit
on
of that?
the other side, what was it? You got Esiason and Collinsworth and all them, and they've swapped some
Yeah.
guys out since then. And I still don't think it's a good pre-show, but if
Yeah.
I've got to pick one, I'm probably going to watch CBS over.
I don't
Fox.
have the pre-show in here. There is more of that, and I'll pull that up for next time because that's pretty interesting. This was just simply what network do you?
I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of the NFL Network. I mean,
I don't either.
occasionally, but
I don't either. Now, how about this one? And this is where this gets interesting. Analyst, your favorite analyst, and this is only the top 3. Okay. Aikman, 7%.
he's 3.
Collinworth,
Collinsworth.
13. Romo, 75%.
That was pretty easy.
So, now this one, play-by-play. And this gives you, this also includes Kevin Harlan because of his Westwood One stuff. So, play-by-play, Bill, 43% of the people picked Michaels, 18% Nance, 15% Buck, 14% Kevin Harlan. So Al Michaels seems to be the runaway play-by-play favorite.
You know why? Because he's your dad. You grew up with him.
I'm so tired of him and his comb over. Do you believe in wearing out your welcome? Yes!
He punished you for years.
God. Now, this is a fun one here, Bill. This is the last one. What current quarterback will make the best broadcaster? And I've got 6 answers ranging from a 49% to a 17% to a 13% to a 12% to a 4 and to a 2.
I wonder how would they define best broadcaster? Is it most entertaining or knowledgeable or
Just
everything or
best broadcaster.
current quarterback?
Mhm.
Because I can tell you one that's retired that would make the best broadcaster.
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew Brees.
I was just say Ryan Leaf, but he's got some other things he's done. Drew Brees only got 49%
Yeah.
of the vote. Now, Russell Wilson got 13%. Aaron Rodgers got 12.5%.
Really?
Tom Brady got 4%. Patrick Mahomes got 2%. But guess who was second, Bill? I almost fell out of my chair. With 17%. A
Phil
solid, yes. He's going to be a high school football coach. He has no intention of being honest.
The reason I think you can get that feel from Phillip Rivers
That's a great call, Bill.
is the emotion and because he has like 700 children. So
They'll be watching. He's already got a built-in.
yeah, I feel like he could probably be somewhat entertaining. The one that kind of shocks me is Aaron Rodgers being decently high on that. I mean,
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to have that. He's got the State Farm thing. What was that?
I think Deshaun would be a good one. I mean, obviously he's real young into his career, and as time progresses, the other one would be.
Colin Kaepernick.
I'm trying to think. Who was I? You just read one, and I was thinking about it.
Mahomes? Brady?
I don't think Mahomes would be a good one. I don't think Brady would be good. Okay, no, Brady.
Russell
that's
Wilson?
who it was. It's Brady. I don't think Russell would be a good one at all, to be honest.
No, I think he'd be too nice.
Yes, I agree with that.
I mean, I do.
I think after this year, Brady's numbers would go up in that because I think you're going to see Brady actually be Brady and not be pinned down by Belichick in that.
That will be an interesting thing to see how he kind of promotes himself outside of that New England bubble. I hate to use the term bubble nowadays because it conjures up other things.
The media and how, I mean, as playful, I guess is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
He's going to be because you've seen it a little bit, and especially now that, like, you're seeing Tom Brady tweet guys and all this stuff. Like, you never really saw that to this degree before. And I mean, the most you ever really got out of Brady in New England was he's got a bromance with Edelman. I mean, that's really all it ever was. And now you kind of get to see Tom Brady go, okay, that chip's off. He's going to get to play free, essentially, for probably another 2 years if he wants to play 2 years. And it may be a really bad Tom Brady that we see. It may be a really good Tom Brady, or it may just be average Tom Brady. But either way, it's probably going to be the best he's ever felt playing football.
Yeah. It's interesting you throw out bromance and Brady, and I'm thinking back to the old Hernandez story and everything. And, man, hard to believe that thing got away from everybody like it did, you know?
I mean,
unbelievable.
So all these guys that have, either come out as being gay or killing somebody or, and I hate to group all that together, but the reasons that led up to why they either felt they couldn't come out to people or why they had to go that route of doing, something that's so heinous that nobody saw it, or nobody, you didn't pick up on mannerism speech or whatever it may be, or they didn't feel comfortable enough confiding in you, but you guys call yourself a team. And
I just think there's so many people that just have never been told anything but what they wanted to hear.
Right.
And I think there's people that wouldn't say, hey, your car's going to go in the ditch, because they're enjoying getting to ride in a brand new Corvette until it goes in the ditch.
Or even I watched the Doc Holliday special, right? So he's got the addiction problem and suffered for years with it, right? And it's a super tragic story, but not being comfortable enough in his rehab because somebody snuck a phone in and that he left within a week, right? That guys not telling him. And I remember watching Doc Holliday, not really thinking that much about it when he's on the mountain, just sweating profusely. I'm just like, man, maybe, they are playing in a dome. Maybe it's just super, not really thinking about what's going on. That eventually they go, well, we came up to him later on and, hey, man, you got a problem. You need to, fix it. But why not just, how do you not know that right then and there and get with that guy? And I understand there's going to be some people you can't change, and there's going to be different aspects to everything, but
if he's helping you win,
do
you mess with that until the season's over and then go, hey, that was great, but you might want to back off?
And I don't find it funny, but amusing to some degree, but the interviews afterwards, right? So he's doing these interviews, and I wouldn't have thought twice until, you find out later of what he's doing.
Right.
Of when you really look at him talk to these reporters and stuff, he's all over the map.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy to think that this guy is so doped up on whatever that for him to even put a sentence together and complete a thought with all these questions is amazing beyond the means. But
and physically, what's going on?
Right, and then him to go out and I just got done throwing 300 pitches and to come in there and be capable of doing that. I mean, it's a tragic story, and if you haven't watched that Doc Holliday thing, you've got to see it, because it's, and especially in a day and age where you've got the Black Lives Matter, you've got COVID, and you've got all these other women's empowerment and stuff like that. That especially on sports teams related to sport or sports teams in general, they've got to feel more comfortable, especially around teammates or
being able to have those
family, to have that conversations in general of, hey, this is it, this is who I am, let's.
Bill, if you had that kind of free thought or free speech in a clubhouse, pretty good chance what happened in Houston and allegedly happened in Boston, I don't think it did, would not have occurred, because people would have stood up to the two guys that were kind of the alpha males in the clubhouse saying this is what we're doing. So
day one, listen, okay, I'm a rookie, right? I get a rookie going.
You think the Cardinals were saying anything to McGuire?
I don't know. Because you're going to get those aspects of McGuire comes back from spring training and he's 20 pounds heavier. What do we think's going on? Did he just work out real hard?
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, it's all that. There's got to be a way to confront a guy, right? And without getting, because you also run that risk of you going up and going, hey man, I know what you're doing. I need you to not do that because we got to win this thing the right way. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Because he denied it forever.
Yeah, and you have to, don't you? I mean, you
Right.
can't go,
But then
okay.
then you go to management, right? If you go to management,
I shot her. Yeah.
If you go to management or reporters at that point, then you're the guy that dimed everybody out,
Right.
and you're probably exiled
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
So, what's the risk reward? And I don't know if there is an upside at that point. I mean, now I'm hoping that everything kind of works itself out or changes to some degree where you can get that. But at the time, there was probably, and you see it now with Michael Fires or however he wants to pronounce his last name now, that all these guys are coming out now, and the hatred towards him is going to be there more than likely.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and we've got to get beyond those kind of things because, but there's just a certain, and it kind of goes back to the conversation we were having about what's going on in Stillwater. There is a locker room mentality that lends itself to some things being less important in terms of getting your feelings hurt, and it's been pervasive and prevalent for ever since I can remember. And now that same locker room has become a place for people to basically choose up sides and fight this cultural battle. And it's certainly time for that, but it's going to be awkward for some people that are used to living their life inside that world where the coaches were in charge, the players were there to do what they were told, and stay in their lanes. And their lanes just got a lot wider in the last 3 weeks.
Well, Scott,
Yes, sir.
should we hug after the show or no?
During
the
yeah,
show? Okay.
yeah.
But we got to be at 6 feet.
Yes.
Right.
That's the only reason I agreed to it.
Oh, okay.
That and the fact that I really like that either cologne or deodorant you have on right now.
It's a combination of
Colodorant.
T-ball sweat and
What kind of sweat?
T-ball sweat. You're listening to
I don't know what shape anything is, but I could have done without that.
Excessive Celebration on Crossover Sports Radio. Remind you to get that app today. Come into Served. We didn't mention it enough. You need to come into Served. Get that Cafe Americana. Also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and iTunes.
And Bill, I promise you the aroma from that Cafe Americana beats anything you just spoke of earlier.
T-ball sweat and Cafe Americana. Double shot.